Hi. Today I'd like to talk about Pink Floyd. I've watched lots of videos recently featuring Pink Floyd, and many of them seem to say the same old things. My favourite album has to be Piper at the Gates of Dawn. I think it was a really good album for the time. Okay, you had the Beatles with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and a variety of other psychedelic albums, but I think the Piper at the Gates of Dawn is probably one of the best, if not the best. Unfortunately, people seem to sort of forget that Syd Barrett was the leader of Pink Floyd and tend to sort of think of Roger Waters as being the be-all, end-all of the later Pink Floyd, except after the time when he left, of course. But an album that I particularly like was on the front cover of last month's Prog magazine, and that is Pink Floyd's Animals. Now, this is based on Animal Farm, whereby you have three different sets of animals. You have the pigs, who I think are the leaders. You have the dogs, who are their servants. And then you have the sheep, who are the public. And Roger Waters more or less made the album be a parable of politics in that respect. I'm not really sure what sort of level of politics he was going for at the time, but he said later that it was based on the Conservative government. Of course, he played a lot more of that into the final cut, which was actually released during the Conservative Parliament under Margaret Thatcher. Animals, to me, is probably, if you're going to have a progressive rock album from Pink Floyd, it is probably the most centric, if that's the word, to that sort of style. You can see also that it evolves into The Wall and then into the final cut, and then it becomes, like, in a way, a trilogy, after which Roger Waters sails for other shores and leaves Pink Floyd floating adrift until somebody, let's say David Gilmour, who is Fletcher Christian, taking over Captain Blythe's ship. And of course, I suppose you could argue that what sort of Jolly Roger would be. I tend to think there's a thread going through their music. I mean, the Animals album, it does have a sort of childlike quality in respect of the animal names of the tracks. Pigs on a Wing, parts 1 and 2. Dogs, pigs, and pigs, 3 different ones, and sheep. It's like sort of, in a way, when you're a child and you're playing with farmyard animals, really. And of course, you know, the Animal Farm book was made into a cartoon film in the 1950s, or maybe late 40s. I'm not really sure. And most of the characters, I think, were voiced by Maurice Denham, who was a voice man at the time, akin to Peter Sellers and Alec Guinness. But going back to the Piper at the Gates of Dawn, this to me is, well, not only is it where Pink Floyd starts, but I think it's where it ends. I mean, I do think that recent album, well, 6 or 7 years now, The Endless River, that they were sort of going back to that sort of instrumental type thing that they were doing on Interstellar Overdrive and, to an extent, Astronomy Domine. And then basically, after the Piper at the Gates of Dawn, you had sort of the band cutting Sid adrift, but then still trying to write in his style. So a lot of The Saucer Full of Secrets, which Nick Mason has revived with his band name and songs, has a lot of the Sid influence. This also evolved into the More soundtrack. And by Omaguma, they were sort of trying to create a new style, I think, by having live versions of their songs on one disc and then solo ventures on the second disc. And then Roger Waters collaborated with Ron Geeson on a couple of projects, including Atom Heart Mother and The Body, or Music from the Body, and which I think was a documentary originally. And the flip side of Atom Heart Mother had individual songs by every member of the band. Nick Mason only really represented by the sound effects on Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast, which ends the album. And then we came to Medal. Again, the long song is on side 2. The first side is individual tracks by each of the members. On this one, One of These Days is Nick Mason's song in terms of construction. Of course, in the Pompeii film, he makes much of that particular sequence of styles. Yeah, they got mixed in with the Obscured by Clouds album, which was for Love Alley. And they made the documentary film that accompanied reissues of Live at Pompeii, where they were shown to be working on Doc's Side of the Moon, which of course made them money, which obviously references the song as well. But that album to me, although I like it, I do think it's a bit sort of scrabbling around in the dark, really, to sort of make an album. You know, I don't like Sgt. Pepper. I don't think it comes together somehow. I don't know. I know it was a big success in 1973, but I don't think it would be a big success now. Same with Sgt. Pepper. I think it was just fitted the times perfectly. But weirdly, I think prog was on the down trend by this stage. And the next album, Wish You Were Here, was maybe a sort of Where Are We Going Now? And in a way, navel-gazing by looking back to their time with Sid in Shine On You Crazy Diamond. And even using the title Wish You Were Here as a sort of, well, if only you were here type sound or song. And that's about it, I suppose. I mean, I can't really think much else to say, but I do tend to sort of go with my favourite 3 albums being The Piper That Goes at Dawn for Sid, Animals for Roger, and of course A Momentary Lapse of Reason for David. And that's all my thoughts for now, and if I think of anything else, I will come back to you. Ta-ra!